Why are you persuaded that this is more like 1968 or 1979, which then came and ushered in the Reagan era in 1980, and not some just spasm through which we just go back to the status quo?
It's an interesting question, and nobody knows the right answer. The way I started to think about this was, if you think about points in history where the country really shifted course, it's not because of one shock. The country gets shocked a lot. It seemed to me it was at times when the shocks piled in one on top of the other. And you mentioned 1968, and this feels like 1968. Why? Because then you had a Vietnam War that was going badly, the Tet Offensive, which shocked Americans. You had a President Lyndon Johnson who said, "I'm not even going to run for re-election." You had the memory of a dark summer, a hot summer in '67 with racial tensions in the air. And then you had the real coup de grace, which was assassinations, Martin Luther King followed by Robert Kennedy. And I think that left a lot of Americans, and, I was in grade school at the time, but, I remember it very well. People thought the wheels have come off the cart. We've lost control. And that's really what produces, I think, a change in the political system. And that's kind of what it feels like now. You have a coronavirus shock followed by depression-like economic numbers, followed now by unrest across the country. And it's the one after another aspect that I thought made this feel like that.
And then you pointed to 1979, when, of course, the hostages were taken in Iran, and there was a great wellspring of feeling that that whole situation had been mismanaged. It was being handled weakly. And then in the 1980 election, Carter was kicked out, and in came Ronald Reagan. One difference that I detect now, Jerry, from 1968 and even from 1979 is the dysfunctionality of Congress. Back then, there was a center in American politics. Right now, it doesn't feel like there's much of a center at all. You have extremes on the left, you have extremes on the right, and not much in the center. Nobody seems to be talking or willing to do business with one another in good spirit, in good faith.
I think that's right. And I talked to Ron Chernow, a historian, and he made exactly that point, that one of the differences now is that the killing in Minneapolis that set off the unrest happened at a time of particular particular political dysfunction in this country, that the system's not working. You don't have Democrats and Republicans coming together in rooms in the Capitol right now to talk about what do we do about this. They barely talk to each other. The president and the Speaker of the House can't even stand to be literally can't stand to be in the same room with each other. And so you have a shocking situation, and I mean that in terms of multiple shocks, at a time when the political system doesn't seem to be able to come together very well. Now, I will add as a footnote in a more concrete sign, there were three big stimulus packages that passed Congress since the war started.